Okay. All right. Good evening, Dilworth-Glyndon-Felton School District. Due to the current federal and state emergency declarations, the Minnesota directive to residents to stay at home and guidance about limiting person-to-person contact due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting of the Dilworth-Glyndon-Felton School Board is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D.021. Meetings by telephone or electronic means. Due to the health pandemic, the school board determined that it is not feasible for at least one school board member or the superintendent to be physically present at the regular meeting location, and that it is not feasible for the public to attend this meeting at the regular meeting location due to the health pandemic. School board members are reminded to mute their microphone or phone when they're not speaking. School board members wishing to speak should use the little thumbs up or the raise their hand on the side, and I will acknowledge you. I will determine which order the board members wishing to speak will be recognized. When recognized, the board member should unmute their microphone or phone, speak, and then mute their device. All votes will be conducted by roll call, so Amy, our clerk, can get a good recording of our votes. Each school board member should wait until their name is called before voting. This meeting is being recorded, and access to the recording will be made available on the school's district website as soon as reasonably possible. All right, let's do a roll call here. We have board members Amy, Ronnie, Raleigh, Laura, David, and myself. Sandy will not be here this evening. And others present are Superintendent Tygeson, and we have representatives from JLG and Comstock with us this evening. So welcome to Lee, Jason, and Chris. We appreciate you being here. Any changes to the agenda, Brian?
Nope, we can't do any additions, so that's just perfect.
Okay, so do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
I got Amy first. Second, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Raleigh. All right, we'll do a roll call here. Amy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Ronnie?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carries 6-0. All right, so we're going to go into the bid package proposal. Brian, do you want to have them discuss this first and go over it, or do you want me to get a motion first?
I think it's let's have Chris and Jason just present just like a report,
okay.
and that way, if we got questions and what else not, we can go through that before any motions, because you always have the opportunity to split up, the package. Chris and Jason have reviewed it with me this afternoon. I can just say that I think everything looks great. So other than that, I would suggest having them take over and presenting.
All right, Chris or Jason, whichever one of you wants to go ahead. The floor is yours.
Quick started here, but yeah, like Brian said, it turned out really well. So we got good news. We came in under budget, which is good. We also added. Chris will show you some of the detail here in a second when he shares his screen, but we came in under budget, which is really good at both locations. And then we also added that concrete drive alternate, which that was one of the ones that we wanted to add in there just in case we were tight on the budget. So we had some room to play there, but we added that on and we're still under budget, which is really good news. The only caveat to that is I'd like to just remind that overall as a project, when we shared that DD estimate a couple weeks ago, that we are, tracking over on the whole entire package. So as we sit today on bid package 1, we're sitting really, really good. I just want everybody to keep in mind that overall we have to make some decisions coming up here at some next meetings. So Chris, if you want to just kind of go through it here, and feel free to ask questions if anything comes up. But
absolutely, I'm just going to share my screen here. I think you did a good job introducing what we're talking about here. Can everybody, I think I might have done something wrong here. Can everybody see an Excel spreadsheet right now or not?
I can see it, Chris. You may want to just blow it up just a hair if you can down. There you go.
Okay.
My old eyes here, so.
Okay, so this here, what you're looking at is just a comparison between our design development budget and how the bid package numbers came in. Right now you're looking at Dilworth Elementary Edition. And on the left column here where it says DD, this is the DD budget and what we presented to you guys a couple weeks back now. And this column here is where the numbers actually came in, and the highlighted column in the middle is the difference between the two. And this is just, again, broken out by construction master format divisions, 1 through 33. And the takeaway here is at the very bottom number. We came in 280,000 under our predicted budget here for the Dilworth Elementary project. And when you add in all of the contingencies and construction management fees, ends up being a total of 311,696 under budget for Dilworth. And if anybody has questions or anything they want clarified here, just feel free to step in and ask. So I'm just going to jump quickly to the Glyndon project and show you how that one came in. Here, same thing. Design development numbers are on this left column, and our bid package numbers, how they came in, are on the right. Differences in the middle. And overall bottom construction bid costs, 187,409 under budget. Once you include all of the contingencies and CM fee, we are $208,024 under budget. Like Jason mentioned, we had pretty good turnout at the bid opening. I feel we got competitive bids in every trade we needed here, and I'm comfortable with these numbers. And I have a total page just kind of summarizing the two. And we have, here's our Dilworth bid and our Glyndon bid totals. And without the parking lot concrete paving alternate included, this is our total, $4,754,799. And this is our design development budget. So right now we're about $519,720 under budget with the two. And just to give you guys an idea here, this is adding in the cost for the two alternate parking lot pavings for both Dilworth and Glyndon. We'd still be sitting about $166,000 under budget if we accepted both of those. That's just referring to bid package one here. Like Jason mentioned, that's not overall the whole budget. A couple weeks back when we talked, we were about $3 million is what it was. The total we need to work out of the budget to do some value management options and try and get down $3 million. So keep that in mind tonight when you guys are deciding to whether or not to accept or not accept these alternates. And I can run through here and show you these are the actual physical bids from contractors, and the highlighted column here on the left. So we have them broken out by bid package, and each of the contractors that are highlighted in the left are the ones that we are recommending. There's a low bid. Pretty much every low bid that we received were from a contractor that we would say we'd recommend working with. We have no issues working with, and we're just got lucky that it worked out that way and really haven't had an issue with it. So
Chris, your spreadsheet didn't switch there. So
well, that's no good. Just 1 second here. I will try. Anything?
It's still showing that same summary page.
Okay, let me just stop and start again here. How about now?
There you go. Yep. Looks good.
Okay, sorry for that, folks. I'll just kind of start over here. So this column where it says bidder, this is our bid packages broken out. And these are the names of the contractors who bid each package. And then we have their base bid amount here in this column. And the highlighted contractors are the ones we are recommending and that we're including in our proposal to you guys. So I'll run through them quickly here.
If you want to zoom in just a hair too, I apologize. My eyes are old.
No problem. So here under surveying, this is Dilworth. I'll mention that. We're looking at the Dilworth project specifically here. Under surveying, we have KLJ Engineering providing the survey and construction staking. Temporary fence, we have Century Fence. And that's just the fencing that protects the project site. Then we have final cleaning package. We have schematic cleaning. Demolition, we have Midwest Demolition Company. Concrete, we did not receive any bids. And I mentioned this to Brian earlier, and that's just due to the nature of the scope of the concrete. It's only mechanical trench infills, which is something that's not clearly defined, and it would be kind of a high risk scenario for a concrete contractor to bid. For that reason, it's something that we can offer to provide ourselves here, just being the construction manager for this project. So we can do that, so we don't have to send it out for bid again. For masonry, we have Winter Masonry. Steel framing supply, we have Integrity Steel. Carpentry package, Ledgestone Incorporated. Casework, we have Fargo Cabinets supplying that. Joint sealants and caulking, we had WCS1 LLC, I believe their name is. Openings, door material supply, it was Twin City Hardware. Aluminum windows, we have Fargo Glass and Paint. Drywall and light steel framing, we had RTL Construction. Tile, we had Isle Tile and Stone. Acoustical ceilings, we have Great Plains Flooring. Floor coverings, Great Plains Flooring as well. Painting, T. Eckert and Sons. Fire suppression, we had Nova Fire Protection. Mechanical, Robert Gibbons Sons. Electrical, Gropeberg Electric. Earthwork, Dirt Dynamics. Asphalt paving, FM Asphalt. Concrete paving, Dirt Dynamics. And this one here is their alternate price if they wanted to switch to concrete paving in lieu of asphalt. So with that number, we'd have to add that and deduct the price from FM Asphalt. So it's just to keep that in mind. Chain link fences and gates. This is the chain link around the playground area. Century Fence will be supplying that. Utilities, we also had Dirt Dynamics on that as well. For the most part, we had a lot of similar contractors for the Glyndon project. Here, I'm switching over to that now. So again, here you're looking at the Glyndon job. KLJ Engineering is also providing the survey and staking. Temporary fencing, Century Fence. Final cleaning, we had Schematic. Demolition, this is a change from Dilworth here. We have Ledgestone Incorporated providing the demolition. And noted over here on the side, they provided a combined bid to do both the demolition and the carpentry packages. And there was a little bit of a savings there to accept both of them. Regardless if they had a savings or not, they were low on both packages. So same thing as Dilworth, the concrete. Didn't receive a bid, and it's mostly due to the nature of the scope, and that is something that Comstock can provide and will for this. Masonry, we also had Winter Masonry again for the Glyndon project. Steel framing, Integrity Steel. The carpentry package, like I mentioned earlier, we have Ledgestone Incorporated doing that with the demo as well. Casework, we have Fargo Cabinet supplying the casework. Metal wall panels, same thing. We did not receive a bid for the metal wall panels. That's another thing that Comstock has experience with, and we can certainly provide that scope ourselves. I think I'd have to double check. It's a pretty small scope for this I think it was right around 30 grand is what we have budgeted for it. So it's nothing drastic there. Joint sealants, same as Dilworth. We had WCS1 openings, door supplier, Twin City Hardware. Sectional doors, we had Quality Garage Door or Colonial Enterprises for that. Aluminum windows, Fargo Glass and Paint, drywall and steel framing, RTL Construction, tile, aisle tile and stone, Cusco ceilings, Great Plains flooring, floor coverings, All States flooring, painting, Tony Eckert and Sons, fire suppression, Nova Fire Protection, mechanical systems, Robert Gibbon Sons, electrical, Groteberg Electric, earthwork, we had Celine Brothers. Same thing as you've seen earlier, they provided a combined bid to do both the earthwork and utilities package. I think there was a $25,000 savings if they accepted both. Regardless, they would have been low on both packages anyway, so we accepted that. Asphalt paving at Border States Paving. Dirt Dynamics is taking care of the concrete paving. And again, they had their alternate price here for concrete in lieu of asphalt. And I'll just mention once over that would be deducting this Border States Paving number, and then we'd have to add that number to get our alternate total. And as mentioned earlier, Celine Brothers has that combined bid here for earthwork and utilities. Thanks for bearing with me there as I ran through those. I think you guys can see a different screen now, right? Or...
Yep.
Okay. So I guess the real topic of discussion would be the alternate for the parking lots, whether or not that's something you guys want to move forward with, weigh those options, and need to decide that today as part of this meeting.
Does anybody have any questions with anything Chris ran through on there? Any of the subcontractors that submitted prices or?
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead.
this is David. So in looking at that, I mean, we've got some bids that are just, pretty big differences on some of those bids. Like when you look at the utilities, and I think on the Dilworth side, it might have been electrical. Do you have any concerns that some of the subcontractors got too tight in their bid? Or?
No, we called and made sure that people were good with their numbers. I think a lot of that just comes in the fact that some people are busier than others. Some people are hungry for work, and I see large spreads in bids often. It's something that happens on every job, and all these people that we're recommending are reputable contractors, and they will get it complete for the bid they submitted here. So
okay. No, perfect. Thanks.
One other check we have, David, is Chris has done some of it, but it was just bid yesterday. But before we actually formalize the contract, we have a sit down with them and just make sure they're crystal clear on the scope, and kind of have a scope meeting with them before a contracts, and kind of one more check all before we enter into things.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
This is Ronnie. You had a mention early on something about that alternate or taking that. Is that what you're talking about on the parking lot to switch it from asphalt to concrete?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
And they switched over here so I can. So what this is representing here is these two numbers combined are your alternate for adding concrete paving in lieu of the asphalt paving for both Dilworth and Glyndon. Combined, that's about $354,000. And I guess the idea is, would you guys prefer to have that concrete paving, knowing that down the road here something is going to have to give and take something else out for the next package as we present that? Or would you rather save those dollars now and help work towards that getting under budget for that second package?
We're still looking at concrete curb and gutter though, right? I mean, that's
Yes. As part of the base bid for Glyndon, the whole drive lane where anybody drives and the buses, that is still going to be concrete, and all the curb and gutter is going to be concrete. So
okay.
that
So
stays regardless.
short of truck traffic, which there shouldn't be any, and if it's done right, and then in a year or whatever it happens to be that it's sealed, it should hold up pretty good.
Right. Just
And we'll have
in
smoke.
general,
We'll have
concrete
smoke.
has a longer lifespan, but
Right. We'll have slope for a change.
right.
I mean, our parking lot now has no slope, so we have bird baths.
Yeah, you're right, Raleigh. I mean, if asphalt's done right and the upkeep, the maintenance is done on it, asphalt is a good option. The life expectancy isn't quite what it is with concrete, but as you drive around the streets in town or parking lots all over the place, the majority of them are asphalt too.
Well, let me ask you a really dumb question, and maybe it's good or bad. So if you figured out what it would cost by the square foot or whatever we have for acreage for a seal coat and layer of rock a year from now, because to me that's part of the project. Don't you let it? I mean, asphalt sits for a year and then you come back along with a tar or an oil and P rocket, right?
You chip seal it. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the recommendation is when you would do that, Raleigh. I just know that that's the next step that happens is you chip seal. You chip seal a parking lot or a street.
Well, I think we should figure out what that's going to be, because to me, if we're going to take care of it and get what we can out of it, we need to figure that kind of in the plan somehow.
But Raleigh, if you look at the county on their tar roads, I think they go 3-4 years or better before they put the seal coat on top of it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking long term, Ronnie. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to take care of it and even crack sealing, because everybody knows it's going to crack. We're going to have to come back next summer probably and do some crack sealing anyway.
It's still going to be a lot less than trying to put concrete in there for 300.
Oh, I agree. I'm fine with asphalt myself.
Yeah, I guess the point that that Jason made earlier is we still have $3 million that we need to work out of our budget.
Right.
And I'm thrilled that this came back less, 519,000 less. And I think we just need to move forward with asphalt. As much as I want concrete, I just think, there's $500,000 right there that we don't need to spend. Or 300,000, I'm sorry, whatever that would have been, and we're saving money. So I guess my opinion right now is keep the asphalt.
I agree with that.
Amy and Laura, what are your thoughts?
I'm just wondering if however many years down the road, and if we did decide to put concrete in, it would be just that much more expensive then, correct? I mean,
You mean like per yard?
yeah, like just the cost in general is, and this might be a really silly question, but would it be cheaper to do it now because of all the construction that we're doing? Or if we did just the concrete, how many years down the road, it would just be exponentially more expensive?
Yeah, there'd be escalation costs or inflation costs, and then you'd also have to remove the asphalt that would be in there now. So you'd have the removal, take that old out, prep it, and then pour concrete in at a later date. So yeah, it would be, now's the time to make the decision, I guess, and move forward with it.
Ronnie, I'm looking for your expertise, and you've been through this before, and I know you've talked about having to cut, stuff out of the gymnasiums and classrooms. What are your thoughts, Ronnie?
Yeah, I think if we just plan down the road, we've got to try to do seal coating. But if, like you say, you get it shaped right, I guess I can't see spending the extra money right now. I know the county's always done it on tar roads too. There's only a few times they've done concrete, and that's when concrete was a lot cheaper. But so I think we have to go with the asphalt right now myself.
We just got to make sure we take care of it in the future. That's all.
And that's something that can be built into long-term facility maintenance, correct, Brian?
Absolutely. From my vantage, um, part of the issue that we've had in the school district as far as with the parking lots is there hasn't been any long-term plan as far as we're going to do so much each year. Okay. I mean, when at my last district, we budgeted $50,000 to 50 to 70, depending upon every year. And we kept on doing layers every year. We're going to do lifts. And we just always did that. And whether you're going to have, I've seen parking lots that are asphalt absolutely look horrible, but then again, you wait 10 years, you don't do anything with them, or 15 years, of course you're going to have all kinds of problems. But I think if, like Raleigh said, half of this battle is to make sure that you're doing yearly maintenance with this stuff. And if you're doing that, this is going to be, it's going to work well. It's going to last. I can tell you that the parking lot up at Whale, from the flood until now, anybody who's ever gone up there and taken a look at that, and that was all done after the flood in 96, 97. And you wouldn't know that it was that old. But it's because lifts kept on being done, kept good maintenance on it. I'm very comfortable knowing that, because we also have so much yet that we're going to have to cut.
Well, and last year, Brian, when we did cut out those patches, I just, me, I was snooping around there. The asphalt was anywhere from 2 inches thick to 6 inches thick.
Right.
So I don't know who did that lot way back when, but the quality control stunk.
And Raleigh, it may have been one of those cases that lifts were put on in some parts, and because they only did spot lifts, then of course we all know what's going to happen. You're going to have all kinds of flow of the water and what else not, and problems. So it's either got to be systemic, that you make this plan that we know we're going to have upkeep, we put it into our LTFM, and we just budget it that way.
Yeah. So the asphalt on, this bid, this quote, these two places, I'm assuming it's 2 lifts, correct?
I'm sure it would be. Chris, do you know what the spec reads off the top of your head? I mean, that it always is a base course and a wear course. I mean, that's how it always is.
Yeah, except for out in front of my house on the street when they put one down and came back 6 years later and I got billed for it again. Just saying.
I just wanted to ask, I know Leah's on this call. Lee, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, thanks for asking. My initial thought that was running in my head is, is there a 60-day hold on the bids, and could we do the exercise of getting those values to the value management list to just really see where we're at overall? But I think I was kind of answering my own question here as I was thinking through it. There's probably just not time to wait anymore. I'm sure Chris and Jason probably confirm. I'm sure you want to just make the decision now, because it would change the excavation. It's a different kind of section for the paving, obviously, and some different depths between the two systems. So it's probably something that has to be made now. Am I correct on that, Chris?
Yeah, we kind of looked at that scenario, Lee, and in a perfect world, it'd be awesome to see how everything shook out here in, towards the end of summer when we get that next bid package. But
yeah,
it's going to be kind of a push there's a lot of work that has to be done there at Glyndon, and I think we need to make the decision. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be nice to see where the chips lay, but I just think we have time.
So I guess assuming that's the direction, then my opinion, for what that's worth, would be, given that we have some work to do on that budget still, that those dollars could be used better towards balancing that, or putting it towards some other feature that you might want to keep. Maybe there's an alternate in the second package here that we want to protect some money for, to make sure you can get that might have more value than the concrete paving. So that's my take on it.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that. Ronnie, go ahead.
I was going to say that south parking lot, half the reason there it wasn't kept up is anytime we were going to put lifts on it, we started checking and the whole underlayment clear underneath was lousy. There wasn't the base or that there should have been, and we would have had to tear the whole thing out. So that's why nothing got done.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that when they were cutting and patching last year. It wasn't a good base.
We had the same thing up at New Folden, and the whole thing had to be tore out. We had to redo the class 3, pull out everything, put new class 3 and class 5 in, and re-asphalt completely. So yeah, I get it. Perfect timing to do it right now.
Well, Lindsay,
Go ahead, Barney. I was just going to ask for a motion. Will you give me a motion to
I
move
will
forward?
make a motion. We accept all the bids less the parking lot alternates. That's the original.
Okay. Thank you, Ronnie. Do we have a second for that?
I'll second.
Second by Raleigh. Let's go ahead and do a roll call. Amy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Ronnie?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you for everybody for being here, and thank you to GLG and Comstack for your diligence and helping us get through this. It's very exciting, and I'm super happy about this. So thank you, everyone. And Brian, do you have anything to add, or just our next board meeting is Monday, June 8th at 6 p.m.
Hey, Jason, can you hang on after?
I sure can. Yep.
We're good.
Okay.
I greatly appreciate the work that they did on this. So and we're probably going to ask them to help us a little bit with the playground stuff as far as making sure we've got our specs right. But that's just another thing down the road here this week that I think we'll need some help with, just to make sure we're getting that right, because we're going to be doing that ourselves. So, but I've already talked to Jason and Chris about that a little bit.
Whenever it's appropriate, can we get copies of this mailed over or sent to us board whenever it's possible?
What's going to happen is, I believe that Chris, you emailed me. I'm trying to do double time here. Let's see. No, it's not in this. Chris, is this a document that you can PDF me with all of the breakdown of these particular ones? And then what I'll do, board members, is I'll throw it on our shared drive, and our shared drive has all of our bids, because then you'll have one location to go to as we're adding all this stuff, and you don't have to worry about where we're putting this stuff. We've got one shared drive you all have access to, and again, that drive is, let me just, again, if you're not familiar with it, it is the EGF bond project. You all have access to that, and there's a folder in there that says bid and contract documents.
Okay, thank you.
All right, wonderful. Well, we're signing off, and thank you again. We are so happy you guys are on board with us and appreciate everything. So everyone have a good night. Good to see everyone.